This video we're gonna be talking about in it's part one though. It triggered me to heal. Um, Recently, and I mean in the past, 2 to 3 months, I've been really in a triggered state, like a triggered state to heal a lot. And my Chiron was activated by the people in this season of my life, and it forced me to believe in myself. So my Chiron is in Virgo. Its healer is Pisces. So my healer is Pisces. Peace to you. So I couldn't be even though the opposite of Pisces would be like more of the lower vibrational Pisces would be more of a victim, because my Venus and Saturn is there, and I couldn't be a victim, but also I need to tap into Virgo of knowing all the details, listening, and actually being a better listener is actually going to help me. As a friend of mine said something to her child, intelligent people listen more than they speak. And if you know, and if you just look at intelligence is the deep emotional awareness, and it creates logic, because logic and intelligence are two different things. They're not the same thing. People like to say they're the same thing, but logic is basically step by step. Intelligence is not. Intelligence is more quantum, meaning it's more energy. Intelligence is more of an energy thing, and then of course, because you have a logical side of your brain, you articulate it in a way where people understand. So you can be very intelligent because you're able to grasp concepts from an energetic standpoint and put them in a logical understanding. So you put it in a step-by-step place. So the difference between Pisces and Virgo is very intelligent. Virgo is very logical. Pisces is very intelligent. It's not that logic is better than intelligence, but in some regard, in certain circumstances, intelligence is better than logic. Sometimes, depending on the scenario, you need more logic than you do your intelligence. But it's not one's better than the other, because they couple to make the genius that you are. So I forgot how you break down genius. I think it's means spirit or something. I forgot how you break down genius. So sorry. So my healing is between Virgo and Pisces. Their balance, which is my fourth house in Libra. Fourth house in Libra cusp Scorpio. So for me to truly heal from a mental standpoint or from a subconscious standpoint, I gotta have a balance, Libra cusp, Scorpio, or to have a desire to go between Virgo, which is health, Pisces, which is spirituality. Because Scorpio is more occultic science, but Virgo, because Pisces is more spirituality. It's like the school of abstract spirit. Go with the flow. Sagittarius is more religion, which is more stern, I guess. Virgo is more health, is the ruler of health. So mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, financial health, everything is health-wise with the Virgo. You could even call them health nuts per se. No pun intended. I learned to think, observe. I'm learning to think, observe, absorb, release, and move forward. So because I talk a lot, my my I start to channel, and I start to, all this other stuff, and that's where you gotta get energetic. You gotta go into your intelligence. So what's the name? Osho? No. Sanguru said, life is not working in your favor when you use your when you're using your intelligence against yourself, meaning you're using your emotional understanding or energetic concepts against yourself. um, so I gotta learn to do all of these things: think, observe, absorb, release, and move forward. Because release is very important, because after you absorb, you need to be able to take what's important and take what's necessary and important, and then release it. I realized that I need to pour into myself, because no one, and I mean no one, I've just come to that realization: no one will take my life seriously. No matter how good I am, I realized no matter how good my lecture is, after a while they start looking at my life. No matter how high spiritual you are, a person, especially if it's a female, they'll start looking at your life. And if your life is not resuming your lecture, they won't take nothing you say seriously. I had to learn that no one is responsible for my healing. No one, absolutely no one, is responsible for my healing. No matter how hard they try, no matter how hard they try, no matter how hard I try to force them, no matter how hard I try to get them to acknowledge me, see me, love me, care for me, they're not responsible. And because they're not responsible, they will quickly abandon my need. But if you give somebody the power to heal you, you also give them the access and the power to make you sick. So you got to be careful with that, because it's like somebody who feeds you. I chose I chose to deeply get into energy work, because not just money but energy work, because to take care of my health. I chose to get into energy work especially I decided this today. I chose to get into energy work because to take care of my health, because I realized there's like a deep correlation when it comes to Pisces and Scorpio. I'm Virgo, because that's what I said earlier. That's the balance of health for me. This is how I stay sane: Virgo, Pisces, Virgo, Pisces, Virgo, Pisces. So, and in between, I get Libra. And if you really think about it, it's Virgo, Libra. It's Pisces. Pisces in astrology is Pisces, Libra, Virgo. So at least in this chart, I mean in the calendar that we serve. So the deep correlation between Pisces and Virgo. Like for instance, I'm going to deep isolation in the next 2 months, because it's like 2 months of my birthday. Pisces, like no phone calls, no none of that, because I realized that every conversation is energy. And I've been examining the energy of every conversation and that's where my Virgo-ness kicks in. I've been examining the conversation, because Virgo is mental, and they're also they're not just thinking, they're not just communicating, they're more conversational. So that's why if you get across a lot of Geminis, they love to talk. But if you get around a lot of Virgos, they love to listen. I have yet to meet a Virgo that's a heavy talker. I've never met one. I've never met a Virgo who talks a lot. I meet Virgos who listen a lot. Geminis talk a lot. Virgos listen. So, and they even say because Gemini rules sales, the person who listens the most closes the deal. It's not the person who has the who um, it's not the person who has a conversation. Yeah, yeah, but those are, I would say, underdeveloped Virgos, because when a Virgo is truly grounded, they listen a lot. Because they're not like the Gemini where uh, you can hype them up with facts, because the Virgo is so result driven. It's like when they really grounded, like they do the actual fucking work for a living, like they do the healing work, the eating right, the gym. They be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? And where does this go?" And usually, when you're talking to a Virgo, they usually know where the conversation's going. That's why the Virgo can even come off as rude. So, um, the Gemini, now, depending on this keyword, their patience level, they won't be rude to you. They'll entertain the conversation. They'll entertain the conversation, get everything they need from you, and probably talk shit behind your back for real. Not always, but they be like, "What the fuck was he talking about?" Or she. Like they'll be like in their head, like after they're done talking, it's like, "My God, that motherfucker could talk." Or their brain will go on rampant. And I've done this with Virgo and Gemini, where I amp up their minds because of my fast talking or whatever. So, but just because they entertained a conversation doesn't mean they give a fuck. So the Virgo, on the other hand, when grounded, and both of them to some extent too, but the Gemini will always be about entertainment. The Virgo, eh, I don't know about all that. Not really. They will entertain the conversation, and they will. That doesn't mean they give a fuck. And after they don't give a fuck, they be like, "I got what I need," and they'll jot down what you're good for. Well, both Mercury will jot down what you're good for, but the Virgo will be like, "Do I have time for that? Do I have time for X, Y, Z?" The Gemini will straight ghost your shit if they don't feel like it. If they don't feel like it, the Gemini will straight ghost your shit. The Virgo, I'm not saying they won't ghost you, because they will, but uh, unless they're using you, because I've been in this position before. Unless they are using you, um, they'll kind of dead you after a while. Unless they're being controlling, because Virgo, in my opinion, is more controlling than the Gemini. The Gemini is more of a mental control. The Virgo is about, because they're Earth, they're more about resources control, and then mind fuckery. So they'll mind fuck you later after they know you about something. The Gemini, not really. The Gemini can do that, but it's like if you don't mental, if they can't, if it's not a mental thing, they'll be like, nah, I'm good with this. So, um, so I went, so I went. I chose to get deeply into energy work so I could forgive myself. I had to forgive myself, and I had to forgive myself and cancel old programming. Um, um, and I had to limit my knowledge and protect my mind and time because I realized I don't have a lot of time. 9, I had to, while experimenting and testing my life, I have to get deep into my feelings and heal the wound, stitch it up, and keep it moving. Um, 10, the version of me has to be, this version of me has to go. And that's what I realized today. It has to go. This version of me, it gotta go. Because I realized that it's not useful, it's not productive, um, it's too wasteful, and it's too needy. And this is the version that I was raised upon, and it gotta go. So go to bit.ly/astro astrology form to book your session. Peace. In all caps right here. Peace.